up, y'all? Appreciate you showing up, hanging out, listening to my demand. Like and subscribe. So, it seems that the Xbox Series X has one of the most desirable things, consoles or items this Black Friday, according to Adobe something. I'm like, what? Okay, what is this Adobe thing? I guess they've been doing it for years. I don't know. I never heard of it. So whatever. But the funny thing about this list is that PlayStation wasn't even on it. How does that work? Now, how I understand it is that they take, measurements from the internet, whether it's internet traffic to this, that, and the third. So I guess people aren't looking for the PlayStation 5, or they weren't looking for the PlayStation 5 on Black Friday, given that Sony just raised the price. So why would they put it on sale? Also, Xbox Series X is a little weird. I'm like, the S, yes. I'd be like, yes, because I bought an S because of the Black Friday sale. I paid $250 plus they threw in a $100 headset, basically. So I was like, all right, cool. But besides that, another thing, I paid $250, and then on actual Black Friday, I think it was, now they're doing a new promotion where you don't get the headset, but they took off an extra $20. Yeah, so now it's $240, it's $239.99. I was like, damn, man, shoot. I wasn't mad. Actually, it's $10. What am I talking about? But honestly, I still got the better deal because I got a free headset. Even though I have the same exact headset already that I paid for, which was another deal I paid, I think $50 for it. So, deal upon deal upon deal over on the Xbox side. Meanwhile, on the PlayStation side, nope. No deals, no breaks. You pay full price, which is more than what it should be, all day long. The funny thing is, right, Sony's crying about Microsoft wanting them to be like Nintendo, but at the same time, Sony's acting like Nintendo in this way. Nintendo does not shrink their prices. They don't lower their prices on their games or their consoles. What they do is they come out with an OLED Switch, which is the same thing except a different screen, and they add $50 to it. The screen don't cost $50. They found a way to raise the price without raising the price. They gave you, a perceived value, so it made the medicine go down a little bit better. Sony's just like, nah, we gonna make it cheaper for us to make, and then we gonna make you pay more. That is like, what? If they came out with a PlayStation 5 Super Slim, where it's like, yeah, it's cooler, it's better, it's faster, or something, right? Since it's cooler, since the die is smaller, right? Then they could possibly boost the clocks on it, right? Turbo boost that bad boy, right? Boost mode, as they call it. So they could have positioned it that way, say the PS5 Slim is more efficient and it's faster than the older version, $50 more. I would be like, you know what? Sure. It's a different design, different looking box a little bit. Sure. $50 more? Sure. Or you keep it the same because you're lowering your initial price of, manufacturer. They didn't do that. They're doing, I keep repeating myself. That's why I haven't been putting so many videos out. Although I will do some research on that Microsoft rebuttal. I think it came out. So that's definitely something we gotta talk about. So that's gonna be fun. But it is a short one. I just wanted to mention the goofy Adobe Awards, whatever list. I don't know. It's not even an award, it's just a Black Friday list. That was pretty funny to me. It's funny that it's like some crazy award. It's more funny that PlayStation isn't on it. Last thing about it, the bad thing about Xbox being on that list, being the most sought after piece of just mother flower. Yo, get out the road, yo. You saw that, right? Just walking in the road like it's a sidewalk. Come on, son. Sorry. But the attention that Microsoft is getting from the Xbox, like, oh, it's the most sought after, is not a good. Anything positive in the media or press about Microsoft is bad because they don't want to look like they're doing well, right? And so this is good for Sony that they're not on that list because it seems like, oh, they're so sad Sony. But at the same time, they're bragging about God of War. It's the fastest selling PlayStation franchise in the world since ever. I'm like, wow, okay. That's some funny stuff right there. So it's the fastest selling, and they are just bragging about it. And then at the same time, they're freaking crying to the CMA about how it's unfair. We can't do this. We can't do that. We can't do any of these things. They're gonna Call of Duty. You know, Dirt Griggity has these little memes that he does on his show. We Believe Green, WBG. And he has this little crying baby. It's a Sony crying baby. It's the pony baby. I don't know what they call him, but it's I'm starting to. I mean, I've always kind of joked, oh, crying Jim Ryan, blah blah blah. But this CMA stuff, this whole thing with them crying to the regulators, is hilarious, and it's putting out that point, the weakness. You know, I've said this before. Here's the final thing about this, about the whole CMA, about Sony crying and all that. It doesn't matter what Sony says or does for the most part, because Microsoft is not dealing with Sony in that respect. Now they're doing it publicly to get everybody talking about it, to get everybody on the side of Microsoft, because it seems ridiculous. It's a 10-year deal. Why would you give that up? It was 3 years before. Now it's 10. Is that still inadequate, right? But anyway, Microsoft needs to please the regulators. That's it, and that's all. They don't have to please Sony. They have to say, regulators, this is what we're gonna do. Regulators be like, you know what? That's cool. That's fair. That seems okay. All right, passed. Sony has no say in it. Sony has nothing to say. All Sony can do is kind of whisper in CMA's ear, whisper in the regulators' ear. But ultimately, it's about the regulators and what they believe and what they decide. So Microsoft's battle is to convince the regulators that, yo, check this deal out. Look in the history books. This is a good deal. Right? And once that goes, Sony has to deal with whatever happens. Like if the CMA or the FTC, I'm not saying this is gonna happen, but if they go the Brazil route and say, yeah, let it pass, you know, even like 10-year concession, let it pass. Or they'll say, it has to be on Gamepass. I mean, it has to be on PS Plus for a certain amount of time at the same time. Day and date on both services. Sure. Here's the thing about that. If people don't realize, especially the ponies, let's say that's the deal, that Microsoft has to allow PlayStation Plus to have Call of Duty day and date, same date as Game Pass, right? Sony has to pay for that. They don't get it for free. They don't get games that are owned by other companies for free to put on their service. That's not how this works. That's not how business works. That's why Sony doesn't want it to go through at all, because even if they get the concessions that they feel that they can get, not that they deserve, but that they can get, because, you know, it's all about the regulators, they still lose. They still have to pay Microsoft for Call of Duty. They have to pay them. They got to pay them the 70% that Activision was getting, but now they're paying it to their rival. They have to pay them, I don't know what the percentage is on PlayStation Plus. I don't know how those contracts work. Like, say, okay, you get Call of Duty for, I don't know, 6 months on PlayStation Plus, but after 6 months, it's got to get out. How much money does Sony have to give Microsoft for that? That's the question I want to know. Because I'm laughing at any situation where this deal goes through, Sony loses. Period. And so that's kind of it. That's really, it's about what the regulators, it's about Microsoft talking to the regulators. They said that they were going to officially present to the regulators the whole 10-year deal and see what they say. And that's the official concession that they're, sources say, whatever. So once they do that, are there any other concessions that these regulators want? Maybe something to do with Game Pass and PlayStation Plus, the cloud stuff, which is, it's kind of, I mean, for people who don't know, it's like what is it? But for us who do know, dude, cloud is not even, I mean, it's nice, it's kind of cool, but it's not the, cloud gaming is not the cornerstone. It's not even a pillar of their business right now. It is an added luxury. It is a extra credit. It is a little star right next to the big star. It's not even that. If they took out cloud gaming tomorrow, today, yesterday, I would not care. I would still be signed up for Game Pass Ultimate, because it's not about cloud gaming. It's about the library. It's about day-and-date games. And it's about not having to spend $70 every time a banger comes out. Like, I'd said this before. I signed up for Game Pass that day, like a 30-day promotion or whatever when it first came out. And I signed up for it, and I let it lapse by accident. I was like, oh man, and I turned on my Xbox, and it was like, wait, it felt like it was broken, because Game Pass fills out so much of content on your system. If you don't, if you say if you have 20 games, right? You bought 20 games. Say if you have 50 games, you bought 50 games, digital and physical. Now you sign up for Game Pass, you have an extra 400 games. You take those 400 games and you look at, you just got your 50 games. You're like, well, it's kind of empty in this BI right here. Where all my games at? That's what it feels like. It's like the option to just browse through. It's like having Netflix and only having 10 movies to choose from. You're like, oh, wait, this ain't right. After being on Netflix for a minute and having thousands of, I don't know how many are on Netflix, but thousands, you be like, bloop, bloop, bloop. Don't even watch something. Just go and surf and see what's on Netflix and just end up doing that all night, not even watching anything. That's what it feels like. So when they say that Netflix is gaming, they're kind of right in that respect. Of course, they're different businesses, but they're kind of right in that respect. It does hit the same kind of, I don't know, dopamine receptors, or it's the same kind of receptors in the human brain as Netflix does. And I discovered that when my subscription lapsed, and I was like, yo, this is not right. I gotta sign back up. And so now I'm on the month-to-month. And I don't even miss it. $15 a month is nothing. Even if they go to $20 a month, I'm good. Which they eventually will. I mean, let's be realistic. But the concessions. I think Microsoft is a smart company. They have smart lawyers. I am dying to read what their rebuttal is to Sony. I heard it's a doozy. So maybe the next video will be about that. I'm gonna read some stuff. And we'll see, but it's about the concessions, it's about the regulators, and I feel that Microsoft will do what they need to do to get this deal passed. 10 years of licensing to Sony, no one else, just Sony, to get this passed. Yeah, they're gonna get it passed. Come on, 10 years. Come on, son. If they say nope, 10 years, no, we're not doing 10 years. It's gonna be exclusive on Game Pass. It would destroy Sony's stranglehold on that game and the exclusive content. That's the other thing. It's not going to destroy Sony. It just destroy that little bit of their market or whatever they make from it. And Game Pass would blow up overnight. 100 million subs like Disney Plus. You know what I'm saying? Easy. So, and I've already heard that like Call of Duty was number 2 or number 1 or something. I forgot what was number 1. Something weird. But Xbox and Call of Duty were on the number 1, in the top 5 of this goofy Black Friday list. So it's already happening, even without the deal being sealed. The notion that Microsoft is connected to Call of Duty like that, and people are presuming that it's going to happen anyway, is already affecting the market. Sony's already seeing the repercussions, and so is Microsoft. They're reaping the benefits, if you will. So it's going to be inevitable. Concessions will come through, whatever, 10 years, same day, PlayStation Plus, all the things that Sony's is crying about. I bet you Microsoft will answer them fairly, and then say, now what? What else you got to bring up? To what else? There's nothing else they can say. That's the only 2 cards and people like the Ponies especially, I think they're thinking that Sony has any leverage in this whole interaction. They have the zero leverage All they can do is try to convince the CMA, but they cannot say anything that will say whatever the CMA says is law. Whatever the FTC says is law. Sony has nothing to do with those negotiations. It's Microsoft and the CMA, Microsoft and the FTC, and all the other governing bodies and these regulators and these regulations. So it's so, like I said, it was fascinating. It really is fascinating. And we've never been able to get a glimpse of like kind of the inner workings of video game business. I mean, this is business in a scale that, you know, different businesses, they have to go through the same things as far as business goes, whether it's you know, competition and all that stuff. But we never see that, you know, and mainly because, you know, we're just regular normies and we don't go looking at business deals and say, well, what happened, you know. But since video games is such a huge industry, multi-billion-dollar industry, it's coming out, and it needs to come out so that the people can be woken up and say, oh, Sony isn't as good as we thought they were, you know, oh, PlayStation is kind of crap, and all these things, you know. And so instead of the minority, the vocal minority on the PlayStation side, the ponies talking and trying to create that narrative, the narrative has changed. The narrative has changed because of Sony's actions. Their own actions have changed the narrative, and have changed and swayed some influencers out there to flip sides. Crap Gamer, I'm looking at you. I used to listen to him when he was a bot. And that was when I was green. I was like, I don't know, you know, whatever. And then he flipped because, you know, he got a channel. He got to feed his family, I guess, whatever. I don't. I'm doing this for fun. Believe it or not. Because I love video games. Video games, they say boop on my heart when I was a little kid. I was like, this is good. This is, at least I have a hobby. It's kind of sad. Last thing. It's sad when people, they get to a certain age, they get older, they get to the retirement age. I'm not there yet. I got decades. Anyway, they get to that point, and all they had was their career. All they had was work. They don't have a hobby per se. And for me, you know, when I'm looking at like, oh, if I'm in a relationship or something, they don't have to worry about me running the streets, because I don't want to run the streets. I want to go play Xbox. Let's go. I want to play Sega Genesis. That was back in the day. But you know what I'm saying? You know what's been on my mind? I'm a nerd. I'm a geek. I'm a geek nerd boy. What has been, man? Oh man, I've been thinking about how to create the best MAME cabinet for a specific catalog of games that I love, mainly the Yu Suzuki 1980s arcade games, Afterburner, Outrun. I'll throw in Turbo Outrun. I don't know if he was ahead of that. Power Drift, Galaxy Force 2, all these games, Space Harriers, number one. All these games, I want to put into a MAME cabinet and have the official Sega MAME cabinet. Now I'm deciding whether or not I should split it up into like 3 different ones, like a steering wheel, a flight stick, and just a regular joystick. But that's advanced. I think I'm gonna just do one for now, and maybe I'll do the special ones on another when I get settled and all that stuff. But that's me. You know, that's why I do this. I don't need fame. You know, I show my face because I don't care. There's a lot of YouTubers out there who have gameplay and they just talk over it, and I'm like, they got mad subs and views. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Well, I haven't been doing it as long. It's just going on my 2nd year. I started in July, for real, July 2021, when I was in Georgia visiting. And so now it's November, so it's more than a year, obviously. And you know, it's fun. I mean, hopefully I can get a couple of pennies when my subs get up to a certain amount. I think it's 1,000 or whatever, you know. But you have to do things that you like to do and love to do before you can think about, oh, I want to just make money. I mean, sure, you can do it that way, and you could just, you know, do a bunch of code and have these AIs put out these videos. I've seen those too. I'm like, really? Okay, well. And I've been watching all these goofy videos about, oh, this is how you make all this money on YouTube. Boo, boo, boo. Like, sorry for the tangent, but just a little bit of thoughts. But yeah, I'm gonna be doing this for a minute. As long as I can talk, walk, press a record button on the phone, all these things, I'm gonna be doing this. As long as there are video games to be talking about, I'm gonna be talking about them. If I pivot and start doing, hardware reviews and stuff, maybe I'll do that. I don't even know. Right now it's just commentary, and it's from a place of vengeance. It really is. I'm an avenger of the Xbox. That's a dumb thing I just said. But no, like last gen, this is the thing, and Dirt Griggity. This is why I like Dirt Griggity, because he has the same mind state. He has the same thoughts that I do. Last gen, the Ponies and the Donkey Unicorns were just killing Xbox fanboys. You know what I'm saying? They were just they were winning, and they were still like bam bam beating us down. Not just be like, yeah, we're the best, we don't have to beat you up anymore because y'all just suck. We knew it. We were looking at down match, and like, what are you doing, Don? Like, why did you buy Minecraft? 2.4 billion, that's a lot of all these things that were happening. It's like, but all that generation Xbox fans got beat up. Now this gen is a little flip, and ponies are getting a taste of their own medicine. And that's why I do these videos. Not for the follows, not for the subs, not for all that stuff, for the views. I do it because it's the revenge that needs to happen. The hubris needs to be smacked out of the mouth of the ponies and whoever else that works at Sony who have this hubris. I think that Jim Ryan has the hubris, a bit of it. I keep saying things like he's intelligent, Colin Moriarty's intelligent, but intelligent people do stupid things too. Intelligent people say stupid things too. So he may be intelligent. That doesn't preclude him. That doesn't protect him from the stupid bug biting him and he being the dumb guy. Or look foolish, or make his company look foolish, or make his fanboys say the exact opposite of his family, make them look foolish. It's happening in real time in front of our eyes. And that's why this whole thing is fascinating, and that's why, if it weren't this interesting, aside of good games coming out, then it would be a little bit, would I be doing videos? I don't think so. I might just be chilling, there is a little bit of kind of sensationalism. Is that the word? Nah, that's not the word I'm looking for. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm rambling now. So I appreciate you guys hanging out, showing up. Never mind, man. In the comments, go comment. Remember, I read them all. You'll always get a thumb up from me. If there's extra thumbs up, that's somebody else's. But I will always give. Let me know. This is this goofy list. It doesn't really matter that much, but all the other things that Jim Ryan making Sony look foolish, kind of the whole thing about Sony really doesn't have power in this whole situation. It's really about the regulators and really about the concessions that Microsoft is willing to make for the regulators for them to say, okay. What do you guys think about that? Like, what do you think the concessions will go to? Do you think they'll go far and beyond the 10 years and maybe PlayStation Plus? Is there anything else that you guys can think about that Microsoft would offer to make this deal go through, or Sony would kind of beep beep in the CMA's ears or the FTC's ears to possibly add to the concessions or the listed demands, if you will? Let me know. And I'll catch you on the next one. I appreciate it.